Yo, what's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and tonight, guys, we are taking a look at the Calgary Flames. Believe it or not, if you're looking in the Pacific Division, the Calgary Flames are the number one seed in the Pacific Division right now. So we're going to be taking a look at that in today's video. Now, this team has had a unheralded amount of success to start this season. 8 games into the season, they have 6 wins. They are currently 6-1-1 on the season. First in the Pacific Division, 13 points. And then you look across the league, they are third in the NHL with 13 points, a plus 14 goal differential, and an 8.12 point percentage per game. Guys, the Calgary Flames have really turned it on, and this is a team that, to start the season, their first 2 games maybe didn't go the way they had hoped, but since then have completely changed the outlook on the Flames. Now, going into the year, I had the Flames as a bottom 10 team in the NHL standings. I think I had them last in the Pacific Division, and I had them being a team that was probably going to blow it up, trade Johnny Gaudreau, and we were going to see the end of this current Flames team. Everything but that has happened to start the year. This team has done so well. They've gotten key contributions from the guys that you would hope and expect, and this team is all of a sudden rolling out there in the Pacific Division and causing a little bit of a ruckus in the Western Conference. Now, you look at how they started this season. The Calgary Flames, right now, you look at their record, 6-1-1. Things didn't start off that great for this team. You look back in October, their first game, the first 2 games of the season. They went up to Edmonton for the Battle of Alberta, a Saturday night matchup. They lost that one 5-2 in Edmonton. Now, the Oilers were supposed to be a good team, and we were thinking to ourselves, all right, here are the Calgary Flames, a team that's going to always struggle and have problems in the against a team like the Oilers. Then they have their home opener that next Monday, and they played a great game. Totally different story in this Ducks game. It was 2-1 Flames. They give up a goal late in regulation. It ties the game at 2, and Jamie Drysdale gets the overtime winner. The Ducks steal that game from the Calgary Flames. Now you look, I'm putting the Ducks into this conversation here for a minute because since that game, the Calgary Flames have not lost a game. And since that game, the Ducks, who won that game in overtime, have not won a game since then. So if you look at that, that's a 6-game losing streak for the Ducks and a 6-game winning streak for your Calgary Flames. So you look at that, you've got in the first 8 games, you had a regulation loss against the Oilers. That sucks. But since then, they've picked up a point in all of their 7 matchups, including that loss the following game, and have not looked back since then. You look at after those rough defeats, up in Edmonton and at home against the Ducks, they get 2 days off, and then they start a 5-game road trip taking them to the East Coast. Starts off in Detroit. Then they would play the Metropolitan teams. They would play Washington, the Rangers, and Devils on a back-to-back, and then they play Pittsburgh. So they play, 4 games in 6 nights? That's a rough stretch before playing at home for the next week and a half. Well, they started off pretty good. They played the Detroit Red Wings, won that game 3-0, getting a shutout for their first win of the season. They would go up to Washington Saturday, and this is where we started to put the Flames on the radar. They go into Washington, and they make them pull Vitek Vanacek on Saturday night, or matinee. It was a matinee game on Saturday, a 4-0 game where the Washington Capitals pulled their goaltender, bring in Samsonov, who held down the fort, but Elias Lindholm, who we're going to talk about in a minute, got a hat trick in that game, a huge spark of momentum, and they win that game 4-3 in regulation. And now all of a sudden, you're looking at them, they're 2-1-1, but they still have to play those really, those teams that looked very good to start the year in the Rangers, the Devils, and Penguins. 4 nights, they had 3 games against those guys. They played the Rangers to start off Monday night last week, a 5-1 victory at the Garden, a huge win. And then they followed that up with a 5-3 win over the the New Jersey Devils, who that was their first night. They started losing Hughes and Blackwood, and then they've continued. Now they took advantage of maybe a weaker Penguins team with some COVID issues going on in Pittsburgh. They beat them 4-0, blanking the Penguins. And then they play the Flyers back at home, who have looked good to start the year. And they blank both the Pennsylvania teams 4-0. That's a combined 8-0 in those two games. The Calgary Flames are one of, if not the most underrated teams right now in the league because of how they started. Like I said, they lost those first two games, and everybody kind of wrote them off, including myself. And here come the Calgary Flames, and all of a sudden, now they have the next 4 games at home. They have a chance to make some real noise this season. And you look at where the next month is here up until Thanksgiving, things don't really get difficult until Thanksgiving, until that time. So you look at their schedule, they've got the next 4 games at home. So they're home for the next week and a half. They play Nashville, Dallas, the Rangers, and San Jose. Now, Nashville and Dallas should be wins for the Flames. Not guaranteed, but they can win those games. And then the Rangers and San Jose, they've both fallen off over the past week. They had their winning streaks crushed by the Calgary Flames, the Rangers. So there's a chance they could go 3-4 on the rest of this homestand. Not to mention they're going to play Wounded Animals in Montreal and Toronto. They're going to play Montreal and Toronto on the road, and then that continues a Eastern Coast road trip again where they play Ottawa, Philadelphia, Buffalo, New York, and Boston. So that is a little bit of a rough patch. So let's say Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, those are winnable games. Then you have Philly and Boston. Let's say they split those. They are going to play the Islanders in one of their... Actually, I believe that's the Islanders' home opener the week before Thanksgiving, November 20th. So we're just over 3 weeks away from that. So that's going to be a big one for the Flames. That could be, if you talk about considering them like a real juggernaut this season, that could be a statement game for them where the Islanders... their first game at Belmont, you're going to have the fans going nuts there at the new building. And the expectations for the Islanders are they could win, dare I say, win the Stanley Cup this year. I don't want to jinx them. But you're looking at the Islanders as a legitimate, force to be reckoned with in the East. If the Flames go up there and win that game, that would be huge. And then they have Boston the following night. And like I said, to cap off the month, right before Thanksgiving, they play Chicago at home, which they seem like they're a corpse at this point. We're not even a dozen games into the year. And then they play Winnipeg and Pittsburgh to end the month of November. Calgary could come out of this potentially with only 2 or 3 losses. And you look at, 6, 10, 13, 14. They play 14 games. There is a chance they could win 10 games this month. Again, you're asking for a lot. There's a big road trip in there as well. And you're obviously, hosting the Islanders home opener. But that is going to be very interesting to see where the Flames are. Let's meet back at that game after Belmont, the night they play Boston. Let's see how they look going into Thanksgiving. Because the Flames, what we've seen from Dallas Sutter has been, nothing short of incredible. This is a team that we said they have to find a way to win 1-0, 2-1, 3-2 games at max. At max, you expect the Flames to score 3 goals. Well, they've definitely kind of written their own story here. The past, 5 games, they have scored 4 goals or more in each of those games. 4 goals, 4 goals, 5 goals, 5 goals, 4 goals, and then they scored 3 in a shutout in Detroit. So this team has been able to score goals. They've kept the puck out of the net. They have multiple shutouts. Here you look, 1, 2, 3 shutouts on that East Coast road trip. That's not easy to do. And then they get a shutout again against the Philadelphia Flyers at home, who they've looked pretty good. Guys like Konechny, Farabee, Giroux. They've been able to shut those guys down in that game on Saturday. Guys, the Flames are really good right now. And you look at the top point producers for the Flames. You're looking right now at Johnny Gaudreau with 11 points on a contract year. Elias Lindholm, finally seeing what we hoped we would see from him. He's got 10 points on the year. you see a little bit of a drop off. You see Andrew Mangiapane has a great season so far. He's 7 points. Rasmus Anderson, their top defenseman, he's got 6. Kachuk has 5 points. Dylan Dubé has 5. Blake Coleman and Michael Backlund each have 4. This team is just finding ways to get it done. And when you look at the Calgary Flames overall, you're just looking at a team that, in my opinion, has just come out of nowhere. You look at the goaltending with Markstrom. He's 4th in the league for goals against average. He's got a 1.33 goals against average. Like I said, 4th best in the NHL. Save percentage, he's 3rd in the NHL. He's got video game-like numbers. A .957 so far this season for Jacob Markstrom. And it's not like he's played 2 or 3 games like the 2 guys in front of him in James Reimer and Ville Husso, who has been very good. Markstrom played 6 games so far of the 8 for the Calgary Flames. So in a starter role, he has the best save percentage in the league. And again, this is a guy I kind of wrote off. Now the thing is, the key for Markstrom is, can he stay healthy? That's what I've talked about for so long. Goaltending, we always talk about this, especially on this channel, how goaltending wins you championships and loses you games in general in the regular season, because you never get to that championship playoff level if you don't have a competent goaltender. And you're seeing the turnaround from the Flames because they have a goaltender that's healthy and a goaltender that can consistently keep the puck out of the net. Guys, this is something we haven't seen from the Calgary Flames since, dare I say, Mika Kiprusoff was in between the pipes in Calgary. They have not had consistent goaltending since Mika left the organization. And this is a great moment for the Calgary Flames. New head coach and Daryl Sutter got him off the fields, in his farm out in Alberta, gets him into Calgary. You have a good, goaltender. This is a team that, out of nowhere, seems to be doing exactly what you would hope. So really exciting to see what we can get from this team. But we'll see what happens, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. What do you think of the Calgary Flames? And is this a legitimate contender in that Pacific Division in the Western Conference? Or do you think as teams like Vegas and other teams maybe on the West Coast start to pick things up, maybe we'll see Calgary fall off? Let me know down below. Guys, as always, make sure to check out our Streamlabs shop in the description down below. And guys, hope you enjoyed a great Halloween the other night, and now we're getting ready for Thanksgiving. So we'll see how this goes. This is a huge moment for the Calgary Flames over the next couple of weeks, and we're going to see, is this team legit or not? But in the meantime, let me know what you guys think. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and let's go Flames.